In the late 1930s, the world was on the brink of massive change. Germany, under Adolf Hitler, was preparing for a new kind of warfare. They needed new weapons that could change how battles were fought. This is where the story of the MG-42, a powerful machine gun, begins. The MG-42 was created to solve a problem. Germany already had the MG-34, a machine gun that was good but not perfect. It was expensive and hard to make. The German army wanted a gun that was easier to produce and more reliable. Several smart engineers teamed up to make this happen. They worked for companies like Mauser and later Grossfuss. The main person leading this effort was Dr. Werner Gruner. He had the idea to simplify the design so it could be made quickly and cheaply. The process started in 1939. Dr. Gruner and his team experimented with what they had learned from the MG-34. After many tests and changes, they came up with the MG-42. This new gun was special. It could fire up to 1,200 bullets per minute, which was twice as fast as many other machine guns of the time. This high rate of fire made the MG-42 extremely effective in battle. Technically, the MG-42 worked using a recoil-operated firing system. When a bullet was fired, the energy pushed the gun barrel backward. This movement helped load the next bullet into the chamber. It was a clever way to make everything smooth and quick. However, there were challenges. One big problem was heat. Firing so quickly made the gun barrel hot, which could cause jams or damage. The team solved this by making the barrel easy to swap out. Soldiers could change it in seconds during a battle. The MG-42 was ready for action by 1942, and it quickly became famous for its powerful performance. It was used in many battles during World War II, making a big impact. Understanding the MG-42 is important today because it influenced modern machine gun designs. It showed the world how a well-designed weapon could change warfare. Even now, some features of the MG-42 are still used in modern firearms, showing its lasting effect on weapon technology. In the early years of World War II, the battlefields in Europe were intense and chaotic. Soldiers had to deal with difficult conditions and enemy forces that seemed to be everywhere. Fast firing and effective weapons were needed to gain an edge, and that is where the MG-42 machine gun came into play. Developed by the Germans in 1942, the MG-42 quickly made a name for itself. The gun was created to replace the earlier MG-34, which was too expensive and complicated to produce quickly. By reducing the number of parts and using stamped metal, the MG-42 was cheaper and much faster to manufacture. More weapons could be made in less time, which was a big deal during intense battles. The MG-42 was used by the German military, but it affected everyone on the battlefield. Known for its rapid rate of fire, it could shoot about 1,200 bullets per minute. To put it simply, that is about 20 bullets every second. The gun's distinctive sound was terrifying and earned it the nickname Hitler's buzzsaw. This made the MG-42 a weapon that both German forces and their enemies had to respect and fear. However, operating this powerful machine was not without its challenges. The gun could overheat quickly if fired too long due to its high rate of fire. So soldiers were trained to fire in short bursts to avoid this issue. Additionally, its powerful recoil needed to be managed carefully, often requiring the use of a bipod or tripod for stability. Despite these challenges, the MG-42 was a game-changer on the battlefield. It proved to be reliable in various conditions, from the deserts of North Africa to the snowy forests of Eastern Europe. Its impact was so significant that other countries, including the United States and the United Kingdom, studied it closely. The lessons learned influenced post-war designs, with some features still seen in modern machine guns today. Understanding the MG-42's role in World War II helps us appreciate the technological advancements that shaped modern warfare. It is a reminder of how innovation can drastically change the course of history and affect the lives of countless people. The MG42's development and use show the complexity of war and the constant push for technological superiority. During World War II, armies were always looking for the best weapons to give them an edge. One such weapon was the MG42, a machine gun made by Germany. Introduced in 1942, it quickly gained a reputation among soldiers on both sides of the conflict. This chapter is all about why it was both feared and respected. The MG42 was designed by a group of German engineers who wanted to make a lightweight but powerful machine gun. Before this, machine guns were usually heavy and difficult to move. The MG42 changed that with its sturdy and simple design, which made it reliable even in tough conditions. It could be carried by just 2 soldiers, making it easier to use on the battlefield. So, what made the MG42 so special? It was mainly its speed. This machine gun could fire about 1,200 to 1,500 bullets in a single minute. That's twice the rate of many Allied machine guns at the time. This high rate of fire made a loud and continuous noise, which was very intimidating to enemy troops. It was sometimes called Hitler's buzzsaw because of its unique sound and rapid fire rate. Using the MG42 wasn't without its problems, though. It needed a lot of ammunition, which soldiers had to carry. It also got hot very fast, so soldiers had to switch its barrel every so often to keep it from overheating. Learning to handle this weapon took time and skill, as its rapid fire could make it hard to control. In battles like those in Italy and France, when soldiers heard the distinct sound of the MG42, they knew trouble was coming. The Allies respected its power and made special efforts to capture or avoid it in battle. The MG42's impact was so great that after the war, armies like those of the United States and North Atlantic Treaty Organization countries studied it closely to improve their own weapons. Why does the MG42 matter today? Well, its brilliant design set a new standard for machine guns. It showed how technology could change the battlefield and taught us about the importance of creating effective and reliable weapons. Plus, its influence is still seen in many modern machine guns. So, understanding the MG42 helps us see how innovations in wartime can shape the world long after the fighting ends. During World War II, battles were often determined by which side had better weapons. One of the most significant machines of war was the MG42, a machine gun developed by Nazi Germany. It was introduced in 1942 as a way to improve on previous designs. The MG42 was lightweight, easy to use, and fired bullets very quickly. It could shoot up to 1,200 rounds per minute, making it a fearsome tool on the battlefield. Key figures in the development of the MG42 included German engineers like Werner Gruner. They wanted to build a gun that was simple to manufacture and performed better under combat conditions than earlier models. These engineers succeeded in creating a weapon that could be mass-produced quickly, which was important as the war dragged on and resources became scarce. The MG42 made its impact known in battles like those on the Eastern Front and during the D-Day invasion on June 6, 1944. German soldiers used it to lay down heavy fire, making it difficult for Allied troops to advance. The gun's ability to shoot rapidly and for long periods turned it into a key defensive tool. Technically, the MG42 worked by using a belt of ammunition. Its barrel could be quickly swapped out when it overheated due to continuous firing, which was common because of its high rate of fire. The gun's recoil system also helped keep it stable, making it easier to aim even when firing rapidly. Despite its effectiveness, the MG42 was not without problems. The high rate of fire meant it used a lot of ammunition quickly, which could be a problem if supplies were low. It also had a distinctive sound that alerted the enemy of its presence, giving them a chance to take cover or plan a counterattack. The MG42's impact on World War II was significant. It caused many casualties and forced the Allies to rethink their tactics. Its design was so effective that it influenced post-war machine guns worldwide. Even today, its innovations in design are found in modern weapons. Understanding tools like the MG42 helps us learn about how technology shaped the outcomes of battles in the past. It also shows us how engineering and design can have lasting impacts, even long after a conflict has ended. Before the famous machine guns of today, there was the MG42, a game-changer in its time. Let's dive into how it all began and why it still matters. In the early 1940s, during World War II, the German Army realized they needed a faster and more reliable machine gun. Existing models were heavy and jammed too often, which was a big problem in battle. So they needed something that could fire rapidly and handle the harsh conditions of war. Enter the MG42. Designed by a team of engineers led by Werner Gruner, it was ready by 1942. This machine gun could fire about 1,200 rounds per minute, which was almost twice that of other guns at the time. Imagine that. The sound was like ripping fabric, and it was nicknamed Hitler's buzzsaw by the Allies for a reason. The MG42 had a simple design that made it easy to produce and repair. It used a feature called roller locking, which means parts of the gun rolled into place to fire the bullet, making it super efficient. Questions about weight were solved with a lighter build, using stamped metal parts that were easy to manufacture. However, like anything, it wasn't perfect. One challenge was it got hot quickly after firing many rounds. Soldiers had to be quick at swapping out the barrel to keep it working. Despite this, its performance influenced weapon design long after the war ended. After World War II, the Allies, especially the United States and the United Kingdom, looked at the MG42 as they developed their own weapons. The technology was so impactful that even modern weapons like the M60, used by the United States, borrowed from its design. Many current machine guns still have features inspired by it. So, why should we care about the MG42 today? It's a reminder of how innovation in a time of need can shape technology. The way it solved problems back then still impacts how engineers think about machine guns now. For anyone interested in history or technology, understanding the MG42 is seeing the roots of how modern weapons evolved. This gun, built for World War II, still echoes in today's designs. In the years leading up to World War II, conflicts and arms races were common in Europe. Germany, under Adolf Hitler's leadership, was looking to build a powerful military force. One of their key goals was to create better weapons that could give them an edge in battles. This is where the MG42, or Maschinengewehr 42, came into play. Developed in 1942, as the name suggests, it was an upgrade over its predecessor, the MG34. The people behind this weapon were German engineers and military planners. They aimed to make a machine gun that was faster, easier to use, and cheaper to produce than before. The MG42 did just that. It could fire 1,200 to 1,500 rounds per minute, which was much faster than other machine guns at the time. This rapid rate of fire gave it a distinctive and terrifying sound on the battlefield. It used 7.92 millimeter cartridges, which were already standard in Germany. The design made it reliable, even in tough conditions like mud and sand. However, using the MG42 wasn't without its challenges. The intense rate of fire meant the barrel could overheat quickly. Soldiers had to know how to change barrels often to keep it working. Despite this, it was still more reliable than many other guns, even in difficult weather conditions. The sheer speed and power made it a favorite among German troops. But operating it required training and skill, something that not every soldier had. The MG42 had a significant impact on World War II. Its design forced other countries like the United States and the United Kingdom to rethink their strategies and develop better weapons themselves. After the war, the MG42's influence carried on. Many modern machine guns borrowed elements from its design because of how effective it was. So, why does this matter today? First, the MG42 changed how people thought about machine guns in warfare. It highlighted the need for efficient and reliable weapons that could be produced quickly. Also, it taught many lessons about the importance of innovation and engineering in military conflicts. Understanding these historical developments gives us insight into how technologies evolve and can impact the world in unexpected ways.